Hello everybody and welcome to Esports Update. I'm your host Mike Kersey here to give you all the news, scores, and highlights that you may have missed last week in esports. And we'll be starting off this week with the industry news, beginning with Pubg's announcement of its inaugural esports season starting next year. The season will consist of 3 phases over the course of 2019, with teams from 9 different world regions participating. Teams will be formatted into 16 4-person squads, each playing in the same time window under the same set of rules, settings, and point systems in the first-person perspective. All of this ending in a global championship in November with a $2 million prize pool. In Fortnite, G2 Esports is launching a reality show titled Making the Squad. 20 players will be chosen to compete for 8 weeks to get a chance to be selected as a player on G2's team. Only the top 4 will be getting contracts, and the competition is open to everyone. Registration closes November 8th, so if you think you got what it takes, make sure to get your highlight reels in before then. Team Dignatas has announced a new rebrand with the logo change. They are dropping the team and their name to just Dignatas, and their logo has been changed from their iconic alien logo to a logo of a shield and an owl. This is inspired by the symbol of the ancient Rome known as the Owl of Minerva. This change is effective immediately, and all branding and merchandise has already made the switch over. And lastly, Riot Games has announced the next 3 country locations that will be hosting the League of Legends World Championships. Next year's Worlds will be in France, 2020 will be in China, and 2021 will be located in North America. And we'll be focusing our main story this week on the history that was made at StarCraft 2's World Championship Series Global Finals. In the run-up to the final match, Korean player Stats continued his performance to take down Special and SOS, the former who had just taken out the champion from the Korean circuit, Maru. And the Finnish player Sarl continued his group stage winning streak, taking out both players Dark and Rogue to push him to the finals. Stats and Sarl were both looking for the trophy, but it was Sarl who was going for the upset, to be the first non-Korean to win the StarCraft WCS Global Finals. In match 1 of the best of 7, the usually more defensive Stats started aggressively. Cyril lost drones to an Oracle but sent a lean counter-attack to take pylons. Getting close to the mid-game, Stats just barely overextended, and Cyril wasted no time to take advantage. Stats' second base fell not long after, and it was GG. In match 2, Stats begins much more conservatively, but has a rough start after quickly losing his first 2 adepts. Cyril pushed for Stats' third and main bases while Stats' army was on the counterattack, and after his army went down, there was not much he could do and the match was over. In the next match, Stats' adepts go down again. Stats invested a bunch of phoenixes in the early game, which was pretty well read and countered by Cyril. After a continual harass, Stats realized they just didn't have anything going, and the match was quickly over. On match point, Stats started again with the early phoenix harass, but this time he aggressively pushed at the start of the mid game before Cyril could start anything going. Shortly after, Stats' side storms just caused too much damage, and Stats finally wins the round. With some momentum under him, Stats started the next round with a strong Archon harass and another big mid-game battle. It wasn't long afterwards that Stats took Cyril's 4th game base, and it was GG. After a rough couple rounds for Cyril, he catches a break when he spots Stats' early Phoenix harass and was quickly able to counter. Ditching his swarm host strategy and building broodlords, he continuously harasses Stats while giving him time to build up. After attack and counterattacks from both sides, the late game started to creep in, with neither side wanting to commit with his army. Cyril eventually takes the first plunge, taking a large chunk of Stats' Archons, and after sending Bailings to take out the Stats' economy, it all came down to one last battle. Cyril got the snipe on the army's mothership, and the rest of the Stats' army crumbled away shortly after. And with a completely dominating performance in both circuit and the finals, Cyril is now the first non-Korean in StarCraft's entire 20-year history to win its prestigious Globals Finals tournament. And while our main story was focused on StarCraft, there was plenty of other action coming from many other tournaments from Blizzcon this last weekend. South Korea continued their dominating performance at the Overwatch World Cup, sweeping undefeated through the tournament for the win for the 3rd season in a row. The Korean team Gen G is the team that took home the trophy in the Heroes of Storm finals, narrowly beating Team Liquid in the semis but destroying European favorites Dignatas in the end. Method Orange took the win in the Arena World Championship, and in Hearthstone it was Team China that took the 3-0 sweep over Brazil to take the Global Games victory. Moving on, we'll be finishing up our coverage of the League of Legends World Championship in Korea. After an entire month of tournament play, the championship is now over, with the final game between Europe's Fnatic and China's Invictus Gaming. In match 1, both teams started cautiously, but it was IG who took the first blood. And after Caps goes down for the second time, IG takes the mid towers with ease. Soon afterwards, they take 2 kills from the Fnatic in a team fight at the Rift Herald, and Fnatic couldn't seem to get anything going from then on. It wasn't long before the Baron fell, and IG takes an easy ace for the win. In match 2, the top lane was all IG, ganking Bwipo in the top lane and coming after him again and again. IG took a team battle at both Drakes and were significantly ahead by mid-game. Fnatic's last hope was the Baron, and after taking the bonus, they were brutally eliminated by IG, all while Invictus is split pushing for the bottom inhibitor. Fnatic was all but done afterwards, and IG easily takes the Nexus. In match point, Fnatic pulled out Bwipo and subbed in veteran Soaz. Fnatic seemed revitalized and immediately took first blood in the beginning minute of the game. Trade kills continued afterwards, with IG taking the bottom and Fnatic taking the top. But my mid-game, what seemed like a safe 3v1 against the Shy, ended up turning into a massacre for Fnatic, losing all players and handing the ace to Invictus. Then, with IG going for the Baron, Fnatic needed the steal for any hopes of staying alive. And they shockingly got it, immediately removing 3 players from the map. But even with the buff, they still couldn't muster up much of attack afterwards, and IG patiently waited for the Baron buff to end and immediately attacked the base as soon as it was out. Fnatic didn't stand much of a chance, and then Nexus was taken shortly after. With an easy 3-0 sweep, Invictus Gaming takes home the trophy. This was China's first appearance to the Worlds since 2014, and the first Worlds titles for the LPL. And this is going to be it for this week's eSport update. If you enjoyed the show, please like, follow, and subscribe to the channel. And if you have any suggestions for what you would like to see covered in the future weekly episodes, please let us know. You can find us on Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. But until then, I'm Mike Kersey. Have a good week.
Oh, this could be a total disaster. Document! Graphics on everyone! The black hole!
Away those tracers, you can see Dupree trying to close in, but Taz will hit the headshot.